Good morning. I'd like to welcome you to this first Las Casas conference on truth-telling. But I must begin by apologizing for not being here. I got an invitation to join an international interfaith delegation to Syria to try to seek and build peace. It's being led by Mairead Maguire, the Nobel Prize laureate, and I talked with some of the brethren on the board, and they all agreed that I really ought to accept. And so I'll be in Syria from the 24th of November to the 30th. This is, as you probably know, the 800th anniversary of the foundation of the Order. And our motto is truth. The Las Casas Institute was founded to explore questions of human dignity in the light of Catholic social teaching. And it belongs to our human dignity that we are made for the truth and that we tell the truth. And so we thought we would have a year's program looking at issues around truth in our society. We started off with Dennis Turner, the professor from Yale, who gave a wonderful lecture on the price of truth, Herbert McCabe on love, politics and death. And now we have today's lecture on the truth in the media, and then in July, a conference on truth-telling and finance, to be followed in due course by other conferences on telling the truth in politics and in the church. But we decided to start with the media because virtually everything that we do is influenced by contemporary media. We get up in the morning, we read the papers, or we watch our websites. Politicians, first of all, I think in terms of the media. It's in the modern media that the battles and campaigns of modern politics are fought. The Arab Spring was largely animated by Twitter and Facebook. But we have to ask questions. Do the modern media conceal or reveal the truth? Do they have ways of telling the stories of our time which are deceptive or helpful? What critique can Christianity offer of the media? And what does Christianity have to learn from the media? What can the media teach us about what it means to be a global institution covering the whole world? I'd like to thank all our speakers. First of all, Nicholas Boyle. Nicholas's analyses of the church and society have been incomparable value for us all. I'm extremely grateful for Tim Livesey, who's standing in at the last minute for Edward Hadas, who is ill, and so prayers for Edward. And also for our valiant panel with Melanie McDonough, and Paul Vallerly, Carmody Gray, and Bernadette Kehoe from the Archdiocese of Birmingham. Thank you all very much for the time that you're giving. And perhaps a final word on Bartolomé de las Casas himself. He was born in 1484. He was on one of the first expeditions to Hispaniola with Columbus. He arrived as a diocesan priest with his own slaves. But his encounter with the first Dominicans in the New World transformed him. They challenged him, and he gave up his slaves and finally came to oppose slavery in all its forms. He was perhaps the first person in the West to oppose all slavery. What's particularly interesting for us is his relationship with the Dominicans in the faculty in Salamanca, above all, Francisco de Victoria. And what you see is this collaboration between the man on the ground, the man with experience, the person who sees what's going on, who records all the suffering of the indigenous people. And then back in Salamanca, you have the academics who are reflecting on it and drawing conclusions and leading eventually to the first theory of universal human rights, the jus gentium, applicable to every human being on this planet, just because they're human. And we hope in a very small way that the Las Casas Institute can be a place of encounter, but between people who've got immersed in the problems and the challenges of our world and of contemporary reflection. Thank you very much. God bless you, and I hope you have a wonderful conference.